Having some trouble with the timer. I can just set one on my phone, I suppose. And just keep you guys updated, like verbally, on how we're doing on time. It's not
Handshake
the worst
before the
idea.
match. It looks like John is gonna go first. He's playing. Is he playing a straight Darkrai build or some kind of Darkrai? Ross opens Lone Keldeo across from 2 Darkrai's and 2 Sableyes. Laser dice falls off the table, but we're gonna have a laser, and I believe that's a head on the Keldeo, and then an N. So how do you feel about this matchup in general? Assuming that this is just a straight Darkrai deck, like the Sosa deck.
Straight Darkrai against Blastoise?
Yeah.
I think it's very favorable for Blastoise. Not very favorable, but like I definitely think it's a pretty good matchup for Blastoise. It's just really, really hard for... If a deck can take 2 one-hit KOs against Darkrai in a row, like on Darkrai's, then there's really no way a Darkrai can come back. Not no way, I mean, I hate to say never, but...
Right. No, I think we've proven that's historically.
Darkrai thrives on exchanges.
Definitely. So hopefully, I mean, going second's not the best for Ross, but and looks like John's going to be able to junk hunt some good stuff back.
Yeah, John had a relatively good start from what I can see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's in his hand, but if he has some, maybe an Ultra Ball.
He doesn't. Yeah, have very good. He doesn't have very good junk hunt targets, so maybe I spoke too soon.
Yeah, but it's still pretty close to what you want to be doing, just like lasering, junk hunting.
Looks like he's Confuse Ring with the Dark Claw.
Oh, he is Confuse Ring. Spooky.
That's actually really relevant because now a Darkrai with a Dark Claw and a laser can do 140 to the Keldeo and knock it out.
Right. So put some.
So that 30 damage
30
is
damage on there.
Cool.
Hope they're using the white dice that we provided. Yes.
Nice.
Good job, Russ. It's 40 because of the poison.
Right. Knew we could count on Ross.
Yeah. He's been on stream before. All right. So Black Kieran from Ross. We apologize. We should try and change that angle of the camera later. No, it's fine. But we should just physically move the camera later when so there's a little bit less glare. And it looks like Ross is gonna Juniper away, a beach, a Juniper, an energy retrieval. Don't mess with stuff. Just leave it alone. And it doesn't look like he has a Squirtle. I'm not quite sure. Obviously, we talked about this a lot, but the ideal start for this deck is just as many Squirrels as possible. Beach on turn 1. Ross has some of that. He drops a Squirtle. Ross, for those who don't know, very good player. Because the only player to qualify for Worlds every year, so even since 2002, back in the Wizards of the Coast days. He's got second at Worlds twice, losing to Jeremy Marin in 2005 and then David Cohen in 2011. Exceptionally, stop it, please, Mike.
It's fine.
Exceptionally great player. Here with a 501 record today. Wins this match, and he should be able to double draw in. He's also safe to win one, and then we'll see what happens. So if he crosses this hurdle here, he should be good for at least the day 2 finish. And it looks like Ross is just beached.
I think he might have. I think Ross pooped. Oh no, he drops it. Hey, it's getting his water bottle. Okay.
Yeah, he has 5 on it, so we just passed the turn. We have a Dark Energy attachment on the Darkrai. So he's playing Absols, which is a little bit different than the classic like Sosa list.
Doesn't make a huge difference in the Blastoise matchup unless he can put Ross in position where he's like forced to Black Ballista and Absol. But
right. Player's gonna play an N, shuffle their decks a bit.
Oh, that's so bad. Sorry for my sniffles, guys.
So unfortunately, we didn't see. I mean, Ross got besides having a second Squirtle, Ross got a pretty ideal start. We didn't see it. We didn't see the same thing on the other side from John. I mean, he had a confuse rate for 30, whatever. He could have junk hunted for the laser, but really, what you want to see on turn 1 in the Darkrai deck is some Ultra Balls, just carrying some dark patches. Just kind of get that going. It doesn't unless he does exceptionally well off of this. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get a turn 2 Night Spear.
Going first also sort of mitigates the like a turn 2 Night Spear going first is like unstoppable, but a turn 3 Night Spear going first is like not all that bad. I think like against an evolution deck, whether you go first or second is like adding a whole extra turn to like the exchange.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of the things like I think that's why part of why Darkrai is so powerful is because it doesn't it can just come from out of nowhere, and similarly to Plasma. In that way, and we see another Confuse Ray, and Ross has a Tool Scrapper in hand, maybe a beach, a water. Doesn't really have a whole lot going on. I don't think he has a way to get a Blastoise this turn. Can't quite see his full hand, unfortunately. I agree that Blastoise is favored in this matchup, though. What do you think of Blastoise overall? Like, I know that a lot of people have been talking about how it's. I personally think it's the best deck, but I know some people have not really agreed with that sentiment.
It doesn't really seem to get up a lot of steam. It's so difficult to counter, and I don't think there are any decks that have a favorable Blastoise matchup, which is just incredible to think about. Like, it's not that it can't be beaten. There are a lot of decks that have like 50-50 matchups against it, but I would be willing to say that there aren't a whole lot of decks that can beat Blastoise, among other things, unless you're like directly countering it.
Right.
Like that Leafeon, like Stunfisk Flareon deck that Tyler played in Vancouver might be the closest, but even that like has to give up strengths in other matchups just to deal with Blastoise.
Yeah, definitely. We saw Tyler get 2-0'd by Big Basics, and that match is like you can't win against Big Basics in there. And I agree. I think Blastoise is all around the most powerful deck. We've talked about it a lot on stream in the past couple weeks, but just the ability to do 200 every turn or every other turn is just insane. It's just something that you it sounds weird to say this, I guess, but I feel like in a lot of ways Blastoise is the safest play, just because at the end of the day you're gonna do 200. You know what I mean? The Big Basics decks, like, oh, if you run into a bunch of counters or you run into like a bunch of Blastoise or whatever, you know what I mean? You're gonna lose. And like Darkrai is really good, but not if you get a slow start. But Blastoise is like, I've seen games where Blastoise is just does nothing for several turns, and then eventually he's just able to go Rare Candy, Blastoise, Black Ballista, Black Ballista, Black Ballista.
For sure.
You can see another N here.
One of Blastoise's strengths is that its board position can be really commanding. Like, there are a lot of times where if Blastoise has one prize left, you probably lose because you can't send anything up that they can't knock out. So like, there's just things like that. Like, I have lost a lot more games to Blastoise where I've been backed into a corner rather than there's just been like I don't think I've ever lost to Blastoise and not seen it coming at least a turn or two in advance. Like, it's very good at just like backing into a corner essentially.
Right. Can definitely agree with that. So
Ross plays an end,
hoping for a Blastoise this turn,
for sure. Which I think, since neither of them have been having like super fast starts, that it's still anybody's game for sure. Like, anybody who can like pick up some steam in these next couple turns will be likely to come out ahead.
And Ross,
I think if Ross can Black Ballista before that Keldeo dies, he's probably fine, but that also is like a pretty tall order. And we're not really sure. We've been seeing a lot of different attacker counts. Like, a lot of people are playing 1 Black Kyurem, a lot of people are playing 3. So, I mean, that would make a very big difference in this matchup, and we have no real way of knowing what Ross plays yet.
From what I can tell, or from speaking to Ross, I think he just plays a pretty standard, like 2-2 of each. Or I know it might be like 3-2 of each.
He played 3 Keldeo, 2 Black Kyurem at the Klizinski Open, so
okay,
sure how much his list has changed since then.
He told me his list has changed a few cards. I know that he does not play the like slim Black Kyurem version with like the 1 lightning or whatever. I know that much.
So that'll be pretty relevant.
So he's gonna drop a Keldeo and rush in. He's gonna try and save that Keldeo for now. And again, Ross, it's turn 3 now, and Ross doesn't have anything going on, but either does John, really. Like, he has damage on that Keldeo. Like, he set that Keldeo up for a Night Spear later.
If I came into this game and you told me that both of their turn 1s had just happened, you'd still probably say it was anybody's game. Like, they're both
definitely.
Don't. It's not even that they're terrible starts, but they just not much has happened.
Right, no, definitely. We see a Juniper. They did discard Dark Energy and a Dark Patch, I believe. So if he gets a Dark Patch, he can get a Night Spear this turn if he wants.
I don't think he discarded a Dark with the Juniper. I could be wrong.
I thought he did, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, only one way to find out.
Yeah, Dark Patch. So
shut up.
He does have the Dark Patch, so if he wants to, he can definitely knock out that Keldeo.
Does the Keldeo have enough on it to get sniped?
No, it only has 90. Okay. So if you have a catcher here, do you think you just kill the Keldeo and take 2 prizes, or do you think you go for the Squirtles, or what are you doing, John?
Did Ross ended his turn at the beach, I'm assuming?
Yes.
So the odds of Ross having a Blastoise ready to go are pretty high, so I don't think killing a Squirtle is horrible, but just leaving him with 1 on board and that huge hand, there's a very good chance he could get anyway, and then you just put yourself at odd prizes for nothing. I'd probably go after the Keldeo.
Right, take 2
just to
prizes.
Try to, yeah.
If Ross doesn't...
I wouldn't even hate going after the Black Kyurem.
So he just doesn't have a catcher or anything.
That's
Night Spear is 110 and 30 on the Black Kyurem.
I think being able to capture the Black Kyurem there actually would have been pretty good. Because then
I can see that.
He it doesn't have any energy on it. If the Black Kyurem had a lightning, I know that's like way too hypothetical and I'm just ignoring the game state at that point. but I think what he did here is fine. Like, he's got 2 EXs that are within Night Spear range. It sucks that he hasn't, like, the 140.
They don't line up.
The 140 from, like, Dark Claw Laser and then a 30 Snipe is really, really potent, and especially in the Darkrai or in the Blastoise matchup, because you kind of need to take a double knockout because they take prizes so much faster than you. I think, not to foreshadow too much since it is still pretty early in the game, but I think the fact that neither of those Keldeos could realistically get to 140 at any point might be pretty relevant.
The Keldeo can get to the active Keldeo can get to 140 off of a bench snipe. You know what I mean?
Like 2 bench snipes, right?
That's at 110.
Oh, he's at 110. All right, okay, that changes a lot.
Yeah.
So now he could be in relatively good shape.
He can catcher the bench Keldeo and knock.
Yeah. So one more Night Spear, and then he snipes this Keldeo that's active, and then he can kill 2 Keldeos at once. Yeah. So if the Night Spear in question, if he's able to Night Spear any Black Kyurem, put 30 on the Keldeo with 110, putting that Keldeo at 140, then one more Night Spear, and then he can snipe that Keldeo, take 4 prizes, and then he just needs to catcher to kill the last one. That's also assuming he's not just getting Black Ballista.
I mean, he can also just catcher the bench one and kill them both. It
Sure.
doesn't hurt the Black
I just think killing the Black Kyurem.
I totally agree.
I don't think Keldeo is a huge threat, and he should prioritize getting rid of the Black Kyurem.
And I guess what we're just getting at the point is that Night Spear is insane. Like, just being able to put the 30 anywhere besides the Squirtle is just like, it's going to add up. You know, it's one of those things where you can Darkrai attach, Dark Patch, and just come back immensely. And it doesn't. Ross Colors for 8, but it doesn't look like he has the Blastoise, or he doesn't have a decent way to. Doesn't have a fast way to get it out, at least. Ross doing some counting. I wish we had timer for this game. We apologize for that, Chase.
We do have one on my phone.
Our technical boy went to go.
There are 37 minutes and 35 seconds left.
Okay.
So actually, just to note, I mean, we keep talking about how not much has happened in this game, and how we're not really seeing a whole lot of action yet, and things are just starting to pick up, and they're already 12 and a half minutes in. Right. So I can already tell time will probably be a factor here.
Definitely.
Side event players, last call for round 2. We're going to start in 1 minute.
And the rare candy and the Blastoise. So Ross does have it. I don't know what else he has in his hand. I see a Black Kyurem in his hand. I think he's about to deluge some energy onto the board. I'm not quite sure. He's going to rush in with that Keldeo with 90 on it. Retreat. And it looks like he is going to get a Black Ballista this turn.
That is not a good thing.
He's going to empty his hand to do it. He has a Black Kyurem in hand left, but that just it wipes all the energy off of John's board besides the one on the Sableye. So that's going to be huge. Again, we just are like, oh, they're not like, again, this is just how Blastoise works. Oh, they're not doing much 200. You know what I mean? And it's probably just going to keep repeating from here. Like, Ross did go down to a single Black Kyurem in hand, and he took 2 prizes, so we don't know what's in his hand. He could just dead drop from here, but either way, it's going to take an exceptionally good turn for John to get a Night Spear or even get close to one. So, it says
we did rule out Absol. How much? Absol's not even doing that much right now,
yeah.
If he is able to... Actually, if he can put the Black Kyurem at 140 right now. Can he?
1, 2... Yes, with the claw.
So that's definitely something to... Or he can... Oh, Black Kyurem has 180. Does it put him at 150?
150, though, yeah.
Yeah, it puts the Black Kyurem at 150.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12.
And so that way, John just needs a Night Spear 3 times before Ross can Black Ballista twice. But even that
Still a tall order.
Right, exactly. And John just end, which is... I mean, obviously he'd have no way of knowing, but that's actually pretty bad for him since Ross's hand was less than stellar.
And obviously, a Laser here, along with the Verbank, and the Absol will knock out the Black Kyurem.
Which could be huge.
I think that's why Ross kept the Black... We saw Ross discard a Juniper with a Super Energy Shield, keeping the Black Kyurem, just because I think that he...
Anticipated.
And anticipated also that, like, an end might be played, you know, like, who knows what's going to happen. And, John has Dark Energy in the discard pile. All he needs is the Dark Patch. And either way, even if he doesn't get it, it's safe to say that he's going to have one next turn because he has a Sableye. So it's like both decks are just moving incredibly fast. So the bad thing that could happen, though, is just that, you know, John passes Junkon Seer gets the Dark Patch, 2 Dark Patches back, a Dark Patch and a Laser, whatever, and then Rush just ends him, and then Catcher kills the Darkrai just instantly, and that's essentially just the game.
Absolutely, I would definitely think it would be if John loses a Darkrai next turn, I think it'd be in his best interest to concede, just because time is going to be such a concern. They've been playing for just over 15 minutes now.
Yeah. Well, what we could see too is who do you think is which deck do you think is favored in
just in the matchup in general?
Game?
Oh, in shorter games. Probably Blastoise.
Okay.
Just if Blastoise at its best against Darkrai at its best. Darkrai has to be a lot more methodical. Like Junk Hunt is kind of necessary, even if you're going like aggressive, so to speak. But a turn 2 or 3 Black Ballista, if you just follow that up, you can win in the first 5 turns of the game.
Definitely.
So an aggro Blastoise definitely wins a faster game than even the most aggro Darkrai.
And we see we hear a lot of talk about the draws and everything, and game 3 not finishing. But one thing that we have seen a little bit on the stream in the past few weeks is a 1-0 victory. So it's like very possible here that not so much in this particular game because it looks like Ross is pretty far ahead, but we saw it in round 1 of Vancouver Regionals where it was Ross playing Blastoise, and he won a game 1, but it was pretty long drawn out, and then game 2 just didn't finish, and so the player who won game 1 wins. So that
actually happened to me today.
Oh, today?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And it's a very I wouldn't say common, but it's a very possible outcome.
For sure. And that actually is a pretty good argument for 50-minute best of 3 because people who prefer best of 1, like that's what you get if you can't finish more than 1 game.
It has been said that like Pokemon's view on it is that they want to have 1 good game. Like that's the idea. I don't know if I necessarily think that's correct. Like not that I don't think that, but that like opinion is correct or whatever. But that's like their thought, or at least what like judges and other people in the know have said. So
I just think what they fail to realize with that is that a bad game can be drawn out, and then that could just result in a tie that should have been a win, or vice versa.
Right. So Rasa's going to get another Black Ballista this turn. Although it's not... Oh, okay. So I assume he doesn't... He's just going to go to kill the stay Black.
I would imagine he's the catcher.
Superior energy retrieval, man.
Decent.
It's so good. So...
Both of his Keldeos have a pretty big amount of damage, but I like that he attacked with the Keldeo with more damage on it, just to...
Oh, definitely. I mean, he wants his energy in the discard pile now. You know what I mean?
I'm not necessarily saying that Keldeo is easier to kill. I'm just saying that John benefits a lot from sniping the Keldeo with 110, but sniping a Keldeo with 90 isn't nearly as good.
Yeah.
Like, wait, no, it's identical. Never mind.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Yeah.
It's a turn slower.
He could. Yep. Okay. I was right the first time. I should have just stopped talking.
Couldn't be identical. It's different. Gonna see double Dark Patch.
Not bad.
He did attach though to the
Absol, yeah. Sorry, I should probably cover my microphone when I clear my throat.
That's okay. And I'll tell you that story later.
No, you won't. So you see a catcher from John, and I think knocking out this Black Kyurem could be pretty good. It's gonna be pretty good.
He needs
I don't know why I'm even trying to do this.
9-10.
The odd prize issue for Ross is mitigated. Like if Ross were at 4 prizes right now, killing this Black Kyurem would be far better because Ross would have to answer the Absol, putting himself at odd prizes. But now Ross can just Secret Sword the Absol, and then
he's essentially back to where he was. Really, like he's down Lightning Energy, he's down Black Kyurem, he's down. He's going to have 2 more prizes, but if this happens, which it might not, he still needs a laser.
But actually, this
doesn't look too bad.
Verb
out the laser.
Oh yeah, okay, I didn't.
But it's essentially the same thing, right? Like it's just kind of resetting where it was. He's actually going to send up that Keldeo, knock it out, and then he is behind the Lightning, which is relevant, but it's not the worst thing that could be happening.
I think Ross just needs to be able to Black Ballista again. He's not going to be able to win with Secret Swords because his Keldeos are so heavily damaged. And so Ross's hand is probably going to decide this game, honestly. Like I think his hand here will decide the game. Because if Ross knocks out the Absol with this Keldeo, John can obviously very easily answer it with a Darkrai. But if Ross responds to that Darkrai, he wins. So he promotes the Blastoise, which is actually something that really bugs me about Blastoise players, is after a knockout they promote Keldeo, which very, very, very rarely will be relevant, but Keldeo has an ability where you can just make him active whenever you want. So why limit yourself
Exactly,
by making him
right.
active from the get-go?
I agree.
I've never
Small edges.
promoted a Blastoise at the beginning of my turn and then like passed with an active and been really glad that I did, but I've always been really smug about thinking about it, so people should be more like me, basically.
No, definitely.
Sucks to not be me.
I mean, yeah,
I'm the best.
I wish I was you every day.
Same.
I mean, small edges are relevant. You know what I mean?
For
You
sure.
gotta, I mean, especially when you consider a matchup 50-50 or you think the game's really luck-based, like, it is those small things that really
And I
make
think
the
there's just a
difference.
million things like that Ross does, and that's what makes him such a great player.
Some would say the greatest.
I love Ross. The truth is out there.
Hail Satan. So he's going to Juniper away. Superior.
bummer.
He needs to dig for the Black Kyurem at this point. I think he just realizes that.
Yeah, he definitely needs to dig for the Black Kyurem.
Superior is not going to really help him anyway with all those waters on the Keldeo. And I don't. I see a Superior. I see a Colress. I see a Rare Candy. Is it a Black Kyurem?
We're looking at the same card. Nope.
No. What is that?
It looks like a full art N.
Yeah, it could be. An energy search. I don't see a Black Kyurem in the deck.
If you're just joining us, we are about 30 minutes in, 31 and a half minutes into round 7 at Fort Wayne Regionals. This
Game
is Ross
one.
Cawthon versus John Schweppe, and they're about halfway through game 1.
So this is taking quite a
Yeah, this
long
has
time.
been a
and
pretty long
it
game.
could very easily devolve into whoever wins this gets a 1-0 victory. Again, I'm Kenny Wisdom. This is Mike Newman.
What up, girl?
On the Bubble, presented by Top Cut Central. If you like what you're saying, if you don't like what you're saying, and
Woo!
want to help support, and there's the Black Kyurem.
He did have the Black Kyurem, so that if he's able to attack with it, that's gonna be good. I say the most obvious things.
Oh, yeah, he does. We saw that he has the retrieval in hand, or superior in hand, but I don't know if he has the energy in the discard pile yet. He could retreat though,
Exactly.
which is going to
Yep.
happen. Yeah, I didn't see the water on the Black Kyurem. Apologies. Oh no, he's just gonna Secret Sword. So, yeah, he doesn't need to. Like, right, he can just take it with
Right, exactly. And so,
sacrifice it.
and now it's just kind of sketchy because John is like he just telegraphed that he's just going to answer with the Black Ballista as soon as John Night Spears, but it doesn't. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I don't think John can do anything about it.
I mean, an N here would hurt.
For sure.
An N here
absolutely.
is definitely like it's Blastoise's weakness, right? Like it's
For
what
sure.
they need. They need cards to win, and like superior energy retrieval made the deck so much better. But then it also is 3 cards you need.
Absolutely. So I definitely. It doesn't look like John has an N. I think he would have been really eager to play it if he did. I'm not sure how much more thinking he has to do. I mean, obviously, we are talking about the cards that we're looking at, and he has a lot more information than we do.
Right.
But it seems like he just needs to kill. Oh, I really, really like that he's killing the Keldeo without the energy.
I agree. I agree.
Assuming, wait, does Ross have energy in the discard?
I don't think he has enough. Like I think he has like a lightning in there, but I'm almost 100% sure he doesn't have enough to Black Ballista.
Just to respond to some of what I'm seeing in the chat. A long game 1 really favors just the winner of game 1, just because if time gets called during game 2, it doesn't matter. Like the prize count doesn't matter. John could have 1 left and Ross could have 6 left. So that's why best of 30 minutes or 50 minutes best of 3 can actually really benefit slow players
And
as long as they just win their first game.
Ross is known for being a slow, deliberate player. I think some of those allegations are a little bit
For sure.
over exaggerated, but he does play slower than most players, and that's something that in a roundabout way does better for him. He's definitely not stalling. He's not slow playing, but
Absolutely.
winning a slow game 1, as bad as it is to say, like is.
But
good in
winning a
this
slow
format.
game 1 in single game Swiss, you deserve to
Was
win.
fine
So
too, yeah,
I
exactly.
absolutely think that winning a long game 1, if it was long, that means it was like if it was that long.
Exactly.
That means-
So we're seeing a dowsing machine here. I didn't see what he got back. Yeah, and again, like
Yeah, obviously, all Ross has to do to get energy into the discard is retreat the Keldeo. We thought of that, and surely he will. But I do like John. Just another really small thing that'll matter one time out of a million. He just wants to force Ross to think of that. Like,
yeah. So and he has the end here. So I
and
really
yeah, the
respect
end's
that.
huge.
And that's that's what he must have dowsing for. Sorry, I took my eyes off the screen. But so now Ross has to. One of these 3 cards has to be a superior, and he can't. I mean, it'll also be a Juniper, also be other cards to draw, but he needs to be able to either draw more cards or one of these to be superior.
Keeping in mind that there is a beach in play, so John needs to. I don't even think the N is that big because Ross has a turn to spare. Oh no, he doesn't. Nope, Ross
Yeah,
is losing an EX
yeah.
this turn, and then
Yeah.
he'll lose 1 next turn. So
Yeah.
it's those two cards will determine the winner of this game.
Ross with the old no look. Love it.
That's super tense.
Okay.
Which also just shows how confident he is, that he knows he doesn't need the extra time to look at those cards. Like,
Alright.
I think he's thinking the same thing we are, that it's just going to determine the winner.
Looks like Ross.
I would just assume he doesn't have it. I think he'd do something if he did.
Tap the top of the deck with super energy retrieval. Let me see it. I mean, I think it's pretty clear from looking through his deck that he doesn't have the energy.
That Keldeo dies to a snipe too, which is huge.
Exactly. Yeah.
He doesn't
It's
even
like
need to
any
capture it.
Night Spirit.
I'm sorry. I have very, very, very poor vision, so dice.
Any support?
Struggling
I see
with the dice.
I think I see like a rare candy and a blue card, so probably like a Blastoise or a
So it looks
Squirtle.
like he just doesn't have it. He could capture the Darkrai and hope John doesn't have an energy in his giant hand.
Yeah, sucks for Ross. You see Ross is like considering every possible outcome. Doesn't want to scoop too soon, especially when we said how important game.
But that's also, I mean, I'm surprised that he hasn't conceded yet. You think, because just he knows that now John has won the long game one and has a huge advantage.
I mean, in fairness, I don't think that like 10 seconds of extra thinking is going to matter. But,
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, 10 seconds is the difference between if you're going to be turn 1 or turn 0.
Yeah. You know how to update the thing?
Yeah.
After you save it with the Switch. So, John Schweppe taking game 1 over Ross Cawthon. I swear that's how you pronounce his name.
The game count.
Yeah, just a 1 by John.
I don't want to do that.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Periodically mention that John won game 1.
So moving into a game 2 here, we have about 20 minutes left, something like that. Again, we'll have for the rest of the rounds, we'll have the clock on the screen, but we had some technical delays today.
Technical delays being Chase went to go get food, and I don't know how to use a computer.
Yeah, that's fair. John leads 1 game. So looking over the crowd, I don't see any bigger name players. I see Dustin still playing. I see Colin Mall still playing. I don't see Kyle Puka anywhere. But there is an empty seat that's pretty top table.
At
So
these,
finish there.
like, sort of at the cusp of the top tables, like, single digits and, like, low teens, I'm seeing a lot of, like, not necessarily big name players, but just relatively well known. Like, definitely people with big tournament showings before that I could definitely see going deep. We've got Stephen Clark playing against Tyler Keller, both of whom Tyler Keller got top 4 at Fall Regionals, Indiana Fall Regionals last year. Stephen Clark has had a lot of success at States and Regionals. We've got Justin Phillips playing Shane Passmore, Jack Eiler playing somebody I can't recognize from behind, 2 people I don't know, and Chris Calvert playing against Michael Kendall.
Yeah. Oh no, I see Kyle now. So Kyle's not that blank seat. He's just down a little bit further. So all the big name players can still be playing. We'll update you as they go. And hopefully
Kyle Lesnowicz and Tracy Key are playing, which is actually pretty funny. Both of them are pretty well known and very, very, very skilled players that have kind of dropped from the game recently and made surprise appearances here. So it's good to see them not only playing but at the top tables.
And so this is a bad place to be for Ross because now there's probably 20 minutes left in the game, and I mean let's face it, a Blastoise versus Darkrai, it's gonna take at the very least 10 minutes if both players play quickly. Yeah, there's 21 minutes left, so if this game, even if Ross wins, could very easily take 15 minutes, and that's essentially.
And Ross is playing really fast. You can already see it.
Yeah.
So he knows. I mean, they're both players are wearing watches. I expect time to be. And we're seeing John check his watch now. So I definitely expect time to be pretty relevant here.
So I guess there's a possibility that this game finishes. Ross wins in 10 minutes, and then they have another quick game 3. But I just don't think you can string.
Yeah, I think Ross is playing for a draw at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is again, as we went over in the break, if you were watching, is a fine in the sense that it gets Ross.
It's not the end of his day.
However, a draw. Yeah, it keeps him in it keeps him in for day 2. He's still very alive. He'll have 2 more rounds left, and he'll have to win and then draw, or just win, of course. But he can't afford a loss if he does that. So Ross is skyling. I'm not sure what's in his hand. I see an energy. I think I see a rare candy. So if he can get like a Squirtle and a Beach into play, so he's gonna Skyla for a level ball for a Squirtle. Darkrai did win the first game. And Ross doing some shuffling. I see a rare candy in Rust's hand, and some energy and some trainers. I can't see what they really are. Gonna attach the water to Keldeo. And he's just gonna pass the turn. No beach, unfortunately. Gonna see a laser out of John, which is a heads again, which, as we saw last game, that was pretty relevant. All that laser damage and not being able to rush in and fix it can add up. And just even the initial 30 or 60, depending on what John does here, can add up. Yeah.
And just something to note with records while there is a little bit of downtime during the game. A 6-0-3 record is guaranteed to make day 2. That's exactly 21 match points, but a 6-1-2 will not. So whichever player, if they draw here, they both have very good odds at still making it in. But if it does end up in a win and loss situation, the losing player will absolutely have to win their last game.
Yeah.
And
they have to win 2-0. They have to go 2-0.
Yeah, sorry. But any player who wins 7 games, no matter where their other 2 games fall, whether they be 7-2, 7-0-2, or 7-1-1, any player who wins 7 games or more is guaranteed to make day 2.
The way it happens is that if whoever loses this game or draws cannot afford another loss. Even at a draw, if Ross goes
even at a draw, neither of them.
He has to go win draw.
Same thing with John. Yep. 6-1-2 will not make cut. Or will not make day 2.
In fairness, I think day 2 cuts the top 32, so so less than 21 match points will still make prizes. I think because some amount of kicker points and I think pretty almost half a box, something like that. So
the prizes are
obviously not really what you want. You want to be making day 2. You want to be making top 8. You want to be winning the event. You want to be getting hundreds of points.
I don't expect people to drop as soon as they're out of cut, just because you're bound to get your $20 worth if you have a decent showing.
Oh, definitely. And once you make day 2, you've guaranteed yourself I think a box or close to a box, as well as a decent amount of points.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think it's actually a box for top 16, so it's probably 20 something packs for top 32. But still, you're definitely rewarded for showing up.
So we haven't missed a whole lot. Ross gets, I'm assuming, a turn 2 Blastoise. I admittedly have not been watching all that closely.
No, he got a Blastoise out, or he evolved into.
I'm just not sure if this is his is this his 3rd turn or 2nd.
This is his 2nd turn.
Okay, so he's got a turn 2 Secret Sword doing 110, which is pretty strong.
Wheeler. And Clark's
there is not a match point calculator. I've looked online a little bit because I'm bad at math and trying to do it. But Sam Chen, teammate of Ross's actually, and
Truth is out there.
We've been talking, and he has informed me that
Fizzy Stardust, bless his heart. Someone asked for a calculator, and Fizzy says, "I think wins are 3 points, draws are 1."
35. From what Sam Chen tells me, he was not wrong last time. He hasn't been wrong yet. 35 was on the cusp. Last time we saw a player on the cusp, 1 miss, and then the rest make it in. So there was 4 X amount of points, and then the guy who had the same amount of points miss on resistance. But 36 should be in. So anything above 36 is fine. 35 is on the edge, on the bubble. So you're looking for 36.
And to answer your question, tomorrow is not just Top Cut, but it is day 2. It's not just regular Swiss. There will only certain people in advance to play 5 more rounds of Swiss before top 8.
It is legit to ID.
Yes, IDs legal. Are completely legal. So actually, no, an ID here is not a good idea at all.
No.
Obviously not. Yeah. Is there ever any reason to ID before the last round of a tournament, or?
It depends on the attendance. I know a lot of the seniors tournaments. For Cali, Ian Whiten, a good friend of mine. He went 4-0-2. He went 4-0 and then drew twice.
And then ID twice.
It just depends on the numbers and how it works out.
Sure.
And obviously, drawing, for those of you who aren't familiar, obviously intentional drawing, which is where you agree, is it's kind of a risk where you're saying I can get more points for winning, put myself in a better position, but if I lose, I'll be out. So I'm just gonna draw and take the safe road. Maybe I am giving myself an outside shot to top 8, but I would rather give myself a good shot to top 16, you know what I mean, and just be out. Colin Mall wins his round.
So good looking.
Advancing to 6-0-1. So Colin, if he can get 2 draws here, will be in the top 8. If he can win 1 more match, will be in day 2. So he's very likely in. But with his big basics Garbodor deck.
Ross and John are in game 2. John won game 1. a long game 1-2. So
About 15 minutes
we're
left.
definitely not expecting a game 3. Yeah, we're keeping time.
So we see John. Sorry, we've been talking about little external things. Haven't really been.
14 minutes
actual
left.
commentary.
And yeah, we're not expecting a game 3.
And we have a.
Okay, Livy, good night.
Gonna do Mind Jack for 60 with the Absol, which is immediately going to get knocked out here. Looks like Ross is making some considerations. And again, we've been talking a lot about draws. If you guys don't care, or you already know this, let us know. But it's something that I know a fair bit about that a lot of people out there don't. It's a new system. See Ross play a beach and then Juniper away a Blastoise in a beach, drawing what appears to be a handful of water energies, as well as a Juniper, I believe. Go Ross, someone says in the chat.
El Rogue.
Hell Satan.
Truth is out there.
I think I see Tool Scrapper, a bunch of water energies. I think a Black Kira, maybe. Not quite sure. And I know we talked about time a lot every stream that I've been on. Talked about time a lot and Jaws a lot, and it just, it's just so important to the game right now. And I hope that someone from Pokemon watches these videos. I hope they hear the rumblings. I hope that we get some change for the regionals coming up. It would really suck to have to deal with this all the time. I think that this. Thanks, dude.
Can I have a bite of that?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I think that this system is not the best, and I think it'd be improved. I'm probably going to write an article about that for 6 prizes in the next couple weeks, so check back there. But my short opinions are, I'm looking for probably 60 minutes. But in fairness, I kind of have a controversial opinion, which is that Pokemon players do tend to play slow.
Oh my god.
I don't think Mike's eating a Doritos taco.
So good.
I don't necessarily think that every player has to be Henry Pryor, but I think that more often than not, players could improve the speed of their play. You've seen Esper, OTB's official favorite Gen 6 Pokemon.
I could see it being a mascot.
I could see it.
That doesn't offend anybody, does it?
Esper. Murphy.
Wish I would have gotten my own taco. Oh, so while Kenny eats his half of the taco, it's just me. I'm not nearly as good at the play-by-play as he is. So we're seeing a laser here. I don't really see a big attack coming from John this turn, which could be why he's lasering. Oh, man, this is embarrassing. Has John attached an energy from his hand yet? Anybody? Oh, sorry.
We have sign-ups at the front table. Please come and sign
And yeah,
up.
John can most definitely just slow down a little bit here for a win. But we do have... There's 11 minutes left, and we are not very far into this game, so that's very possible. But I can tell from the way John is shuffling and moving that he doesn't appear to be trying to play slowly at all. But I think even at a reasonable pace, he could very well stretch this game out for 10 minutes.
There are a lot of decisions in Darkrai. There are a lot. I mean, even just like
exactly
in the board presentation, there's decisions to make.
Which is what I'm saying. Like he is obviously doing his best to maintain a reasonable pace, but even at a reasonable pace, Darkrai. Exactly, he's gonna have to stop and think a lot, and this game could most definitely go to time.
Hopefully,
regardless.
he is made of dark patches.
I wish he would stop putting his energy on top of his Pokemon.
I think that's just to mark. Oh wait, does he have 2 energy on top?
Yeah.
Never mind. Originally I thought it was to mark that he's attached one this turn, but I see that that's not the case. So he does get the Night Spear knockout on the Keldeo, going down to 4 prizes. And Ross has a candy in hand, a water. I'm not sure.
Candy.
So. I don't think that he has a way to Black Ballista. At least not in his hand. I don't know if he has a Juniper or something. There are updated rules for slow play, just to give you a little guys a break from the action. There's a document that's been posted around the Facebook group, Say Fontaine, all that I believe is that the official guideline is 15 seconds for a decision.
Which is absurd.
And I think that is just like supposed to be like you play an Ultra Ball, 15 seconds starts. You throw down 2 waters, 15 seconds restarts, you search your deck. You know what I mean? It's like that works. It might be 20. There's some. They've been a bit loose in the past with it, but I think that with these new time rules and everything, I think they've updated them a little bit.
And as a judge, I had the privilege of judging the KO, and Heidi Craig taught me a lot about how to catch slow play, because that was one of the first big Pokemon tournaments to use best of 3 in Swiss. And it seems like judges are just doing laps up and down, but if you actually keep an eye out, you'll notice that a judge will probably stop at your game for 2 to 3 minutes at least once per round. So the way judges keep an eye on slow play, it generally takes a few games or a few rounds. But
we're seeing a huge kill deal.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but
no way, man.
That's gonna.
You guys dare me to yell Catstoise at the top of my lungs?
And that is a knockout.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Crazy.
That is absolutely bananas.
Watch John just drop his
That's
one of Mewtwo.
definitely something we should have mentioned sooner. If Blastoise has a good matchup against Darkrai to begin with, if you're able to take a knockout with a giant Keldeo, then it's almost impossible to lose. It's just like streaming a Black Ballista, but you don't even need a hand. They can't catch her around it because of Russian. It's just absurd what you can do with a 7 energy Keldeo against Darkrai. So it may be pretty bold, but I legitimately think Ross has this game strictly because of that 7 energy Keldeo he has active right now.
In all fairness, too, the thing, just to go back to slow playing real quick, last thing we're gonna say about it is that these people can, players can slow play. John can certainly slow play here to win the game, but as long as players are in good standing with Pokemon, which they are if they're playing a tournament, we're gonna assume that they're good people. There's no reason to assume that they're going to cheat or soft cheat or whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't assume that of anyone unless they have a reputation, and none of the people in this whole room do. So we're assuming an honorable tournament. If we saw some blatant slow play, I think we would tell a judge, but it hasn't been a problem yet, and hopefully will continue not to be a problem throughout the event.
Did Israel play Keldeo?
Ooh, I'm not sure, but if you want to find out, listeners, you can watch the deck tech with Israel on youtube.com/onthebubble.
Dude, nice. We totally didn't do that on purpose. It's youtube.com/onthebubble_Pokemon.
Yeah, sorry.
We actually regret to inform you guys, Kenny has been let go of his position as commentator. We wish him the best in his future endeavors.
Approx, how much time was left?
It's 8:32.
Don't
That doesn't mean
ban him.
anything. There's 7 minutes left.
7 minutes left. So, if this
Keyblade Warrior 2, that was an advertisement, so we're gonna have to ban you from the chat. Don't.
So
I think Chase is actually doing it. All right, sorry, man.
And so 7 minutes left, 6 minutes left. We could be a little off. Might be off by as much as a minute, but we have that plus 3 turns. This game shouldn't. This game should end before then, which unfortunately is probably going to spell a draw from what I'm seeing.
Which is pretty scary. Just being in a position where you absolutely have to win your last round is always stressful.
Absolutely.
Especially given 5-0-1. The fact that they have not lost a game, and they're 6 rounds in. If they draw here, they'll be 7 rounds in. Neither of them will have lost a game, and they're not guaranteed day 2. And that's pretty scary.
It's funny, Ross remarked to me in Vancouver. I came over to him and said, "Hey, how'd you do?" And he said, "Oh, he said, yeah, I made top 16, whatever. I'm not too bad. I mean, I didn't lose a match." And he had gone, he had 3 or 4 draws, and he didn't have enough points. And then today, I was like, "How are you doing?" He was like, "Oh, still undefeated." And I was like, "Cool." And he's like, "Yeah, I realized that I didn't lose a match in Vancouver, and I haven't lost a match to a master since Worlds." He didn't lose a match to a master without the KO until he lost to Lex DeAndrea twice. I think he lost him to a Swiss and in the final. So Ross is on quite the tear, even though it doesn't quite seem like it. And that's one thing too about the top 8 system is I think it's better. I think top 8s are where you want to be. I think it makes the game more prestigious, but it also makes it so it's the top 16 doesn't really carry the same weight it used to. It doesn't get reported on as much, I've seen a lot of people.
Same.
Seen a lot of people top 16 regionals not really get talked about because it's a focus on top 8 now, but still a really good accomplishment.
Absolutely.
Keyblade Warrior. I'm sorry, Chase is just being an idiot. You didn't do anything
We were
wrong.
teasing you.
Yeah,
We
were just
wanted
messing.
people to go watch the YouTube video,
just
so since
messing
you
around.
spoiled it, we banned you from the
Yeah.
chat. But
Never
I
happen
think it's
again.
taken care of. We're really sorry. We'll send you a severance package. Chase is not sorry. If John were to scoop here, which I probably would if I were him, maybe?
No way.
No.
You played out to the draw at least. But if he were, we would go to a game 3.
Oh, John won game 1. Of course. Sorry.
Yeah.
I started talking before I had completely thought of what I was thinking. I'm just saying that John is like favored in a game 3, but I mean
Right.
it's gonna go to game 3 no matter. I think John's right to play it out, just to guarantee a draw, as opposed to
A loss.
possibly losing like
Yeah.
a ridiculous game 3.
Also, keep in mind, Mike Newman was in a car accident this morning. It's not a joke. We have 4 minutes. God damn it. We have 4 minutes left in the round, just about. So, only this match should end. Players have been playing at a fairly okay pace, but probably just going to see
Just
it.
an update on a few players that I know people are trying to keep track of. Zach Dalton has yet to win a game. He is 0-6.
Ooh, wow.
Those of you who signed up for the first 8-person
Couple of
side
announcements
event,
happening.
we have our people, so please make your way to the juniors area. If you're in the first 8-person side event, please make your way to the juniors area, and we'll start shortly.
I love you,
And so I got a little bit distracted by people coming to the booth.
Zach.
People don't know their place. We asked for this booth to be atop an ivory tower within the convention center, but fortunately it had to be on the floor with the normies, so...
We're talking to the powers that be to try to get this resolved, but we're as outraged as you are.
Last I heard, Puka is, I believe, X0-1 or X1-1. I forget. I deleted the note on my phone, but he's still very much in it. And we can get an update on his round when he finishes.
Speaking of people who aren't in it, John is totally boned.
And yeah, I mean,
Actually, I mean, a double dark patch could very well win him the game, but I just don't see that.
yeah.
It depends on Ross's hand as well. He just needs
Yeah,
to
Ross has a lot of cards in hand.
Ross can slash that Darkrai. Ross can Hydro Pump that Darkrai.
Yeah, and even the double dark patch here doesn't necessarily like it. Ross could very easily respond with the black here. I'm like, he has so many cards in hand, and
Absolutely.
all the energy
Yep.
just goes to this card.
So what I
Ross
meant
is-
there is that his only hope is a double dark patch, but
Right.
it is a
It
very,
puts
very
him back in
it's
the
a
game.
slim one. I don't even know. It puts him. It leaves the door open just a crack before Ross just kicks it in with all of his might. The person who just asked how Game 3 will work, Game 3 probably won't work. It's looking like this game's going to end right on time, but hypothetically, if there were more time left and they went to Game 3, it would just be any normal best of 3, whoever won Game 3 would win the match, but if time were called during Game 3 and no winner, like clear 6 prizes, deck out, blah, 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 winner occurred during the 3 turns, then it's a draw. So every game has to be completely decided in this new system. That's like as concisely as I can put it.
So basically, what we're saying is it's probably going to be a draw. If Ross looks like Ross is going to win, if Ross wins, it'll
Yeah,
draw because the game won't
I don't
finish.
see this not ending in a draw under any circumstances.
Yeah.
Which isn't horrible for either player, but it again. I sound like Maddie. It just again brings up the point that the fact that you can start the first 7 rounds of a tournament without giving up a match and not be guaranteed day 2 of Swiss, like that is a pretty strong statement against ties.
Definitely.
Starting a regional 5-0 in the past at like with our old system has almost always guaranteed top cut. So
Right, and there'd be what 7 rounds.
Yeah.
Even at 8, like you could
and even at 8,
lose
that just
2.
means you need to win one more. Like
Right,
of course, like yeah. So starting at 5-0 under the old system meant you still had to win one of your last 3 games, but that was just like pretty easy to do. And now these guys are 5-0 and they're still scratching and clawing for a spot on day 2, all because of ties. If the game is not set up and time is called, there's no sudden death.
Pokemon players, that is 50 minutes. You now have plus.
All
All right, so
right,
time was just called.
And Ross looks like he has, and he's just kind of
Yeah, there's
All right, there we
So
go.
that's